Hello everyone, it's your favorite host on the internet, on the YouTube. It's Travis with Green Carpet Media bringing you another Heroes of the Storm commentary. And I'm joined today with my fabulous co-host, Stench. Hey Travis, it's a great pleasure to be here. Just kidding, Stench isn't here today. She is sleeping in the other room, so she will not be joining me today. I'm going to be casting this solo. So we have, this is a Hero League episode 3, and we have the red team on the right and the blue team on the left. We got an interesting matchup today because we have, on the red team, we have an Anub, a Karazim, a Gazlo, a Mathiel, and a KT. Not the KT that just got released, but the KT that has been here for probably a year and a half or maybe even 2 years. So this team, the red team, essentially it's gonna be really interesting because they got a Gazlo, and Gazlo is able to push lanes extremely well. He's not one to necessarily join a team fight, and you can see him down here facing off against this Raynor. Raynor might be able to take him down if he does focus fire the Gazlo. However, he was in a mix of red minions and Gazlo at the same time, with Gazlo turrets attacking him. So he was probably right to back out of that situation, regroup, and maybe get some of that mana juice from the Moonwell. It looks like it's gonna be at the north. At the north, it's gonna be a Greymane versus KT battle. That should be very interesting. But like I was saying, we have a Gazlo who's able to push those lanes, to get those siege camps, and do a ton of siege damage. He's gonna get caught out here, however, by Arthas's root here, and he's gonna get locked down and taken down by Raynor and Vala. It looks like the red team is trying to guard the southern camp, or the southern tower down there, but they're not going to be able to get it because it is a 2v4. They do need to be extremely careful. Greymane is trying to protect his northern tower, but it looks like Anub is going to bully him out of the way. Those beetles are just too much of an army for little old Greymane. It's essentially a 1v4. I mean, how are you gonna deal with those beetles? Raynor is getting a little bit low, but he does have that self heal. Once he does reach a certain percentage in his health points, he will heal up a little bit. Karazim's getting awfully low. If a Hungering Arrow does hit Karazim, I'm sure he would have gone down there, so he's got to be extremely careful. KT is doing a lot of damage too. Oh, look at that. It looks like Karazim might go down, but that Hungering Arrow did lock onto Mathiel instead. There goes KT. He does go down. Over in the middle lane, like I said, he needed to be careful. He had a Raynor and an Arthas. This is going to be an interesting fight here. Uther is getting low, but Mathiel is the one that falls. He was not able to do enough damage, and he wasn't able to sustain himself enough. Oh, it looks like Gazlo might fall here in a second. If he doesn't be careful, that Greymane is in hot pursuit. He does disengage, but was it really a disengage? Because he was able to go into human form and then throw a Guyanese cocktail right on the butt of Gazlo, which is that is his weak point, right in the tuchus. Greymane is going to capture that northern tower, and the blue team might actually get the Dragon Knight here if the red team is not careful. Now, I've been talking about the red team, and let's settle down. Let's see if the blue team is able to get this camp. Karazim is going in there. He does have that. He is one of those damaged Karazim. He's going to do a ton of damage to Raynor, and Raynor just could not sustain it. He does go down, but not before Karazim goes down himself. Vala is getting extremely low. She is trying to guard that southern tower, but she just wasn't able to do so. I mean, she has Vala herself has 0 sustain. All she has is a little bit of survivability with her vault ability, which is like Greymane's disengage. She has to roll away from the action. Greymane and Vala have no sustain. Neither does Raynor, for that matter. He has very, very little sustain outside of his main heal. So all these characters it's gonna be a little bit difficult for them to actually stay in the fight without Uther actually there to assist them. Now, the red team was able to get this Dragon Knight, and they're going to push that middle keep, and we're going to see if they can get that middle keep down. But you can see that Greymane has actually captured the blue team siege camp, which that siege camp is going to be pressuring that southern fort. While everyone's up here trying to defend the Dragon Knight, it's just going to be crazy. As Vala goes down, but also at the expense of Karazim. So it's a 1-for-1, and it looks like Uther's going to go down. He's in too deep. He needs to get back. He is going to be in ghost form. Heal up that Raynor a little bit, and the Dragon Knight is going to go down. But like I said, that siege camp is still pushing the southern fort. So that's actually where the damage is being dealt. Not to mention the middle fort also got their towers down, and they also got their wall down, which is not necessarily a good thing. So they have to defend their little sippy cup here. They have to defend everything. It looks like the sip cup is going to go down. KT is focusing it. The minions are focusing it. But KT is getting a little overzealous here. He's got a Greymane. He's got a Raynor chasing him down. But Karazim, I think, is going to Divine Pawn him, give him a little bit of that speed boost, give him a little bit of that healing. And KT is going to go back to the starting zone to heal up and mana up. So, like I was saying, guys, the blue team does rely heavily on their Uther. They have very little in the way of actual self-sustain, actually healing themselves. Unlike the red team, who does have an Anub, which has his beetles, which typically do heal him for a little bit. He does have his own shields with that hardened carapace that he applies to himself. And Mathiel is also a self-sustainer too, so they have heals outside of their Karazim. It looks like there goes Gazlo getting caught in a Arthas stun. There is a Vala stun. That was an amazing divine shield onto Vala. She is able to walk away. There's another heal just topping her, just enough for her to get away. KT is getting extremely low. Another Rock is getting low, but they do leave their Karazim behind to get picked off. Gazlo is probably going to go down here. There's just way too many of the blue team just on top of him. Arthas gets slowed. KT is very much in trouble, but you can see that KD's living bomb is pinging around on the blue team. Arthas narrowly survives that living bomb, and it looks like a Nubarak wants blood. He does actually get that blood in the form of Vala with his Locust Swarm, doing that damage and doing that healing. There's self-sustain as well for a Nubarak is his Locust Swarm, so that's an additional healing once he pops that. Oh, it looks like Raynor is getting low, but it seems like Mathiel does not want to pursue that kill. And it's understandably because Raynor did tuck away into his fort, and Raynor he can do his damage. He's not a finisher, he is not a closer, but he is a damage dealer. He does not have his heal, and he is going to pop his Hyperion, but it's not going to be enough to finish off Mathiel. Like I said, he does have that self-sustain. Once Raynor's auto heal is gone, once he is through with that, he has nothing in the way of healing himself, so he had to be extremely careful. Looks like Greymane is going to try to grab that northern camp. Instead, he's going to go for that kill. He's going to go not necessarily for the throat, but he is in hot pursuit. He might engage and throw a Gillenese cocktail into Mathiel's little butt crack, just like he did to Gazlo in the beginning of the game. Uther is getting low, and KT is putting a living bomb and a flame strike down on the ground. He is carpeting the area and saying, hey, walk into this, please, just like all those KTs like to do. The blue team is in a position now where they have to be careful because, like I said, they do not have an Uther and they do not have self-sustain, and Gazlo is extremely tricky. You can see each little hit from one of Gazlo's turrets is going to deal just a little bit of damage, and a little bit of damage is enough without an Uther for the blue team to just get whittled down. You can see that Arthas did go down. Sorry, I missed what exactly happened to him. They have to be extremely careful. Look at that turret just picking away that Vala. Mathiel is wanting to come in here and do that damage. His little ability there, his ghostly wave ability did miss, and he could have killed probably both Vala and Greymane if that did strike, because he would have been able to leap in there and do that damage. It looks like Raynor is trying to prevent the red team from grabbing the Dragon Knight in the middle of the map, but it looks like the red team is just content with pushing this middle lane. KT is the only one down there trying to grab that Dragon Knight. So it's a Raynor versus KT, and I think he'll be able to sustain. They'll be able to tango. I think Raynor will be able to stop KT from grabbing that Dragon Knight, but not with Mathiel coming down into the middle. There goes Gazlo. He was in a little bit too deep, and there also goes Uther. Again, Vala goes down trying to defend that southern lane, but it does prevent the red team from grabbing the Dragon Knight, but I think Raynor's going to go down in the process. Greymane is going to survive, and it looks like KT, he was trying to do those million punches, those 1,000 punches to that Greymane, but Greymane was like, come in a little bit closer, come into my web, and he did. And what happened was he got a bullet to the face, not necessarily a Greymane bullet, but a cannon bullet. Oh, Anubarak needs to get out of there. He is sustaining too much damage. He should have burrow charged away from that battle, but it looks like he's going to be avenged by his Mathiel. He's going to he hungers for death, and he's the one that is going to get that finishing kill there. He avenged his Anub that went down in such a I wouldn't say an embarrassing fashion, but let's say an embarrassing fashion. Let's say an embarrassing fashion. Sorry guys, that Skype call I just got, it kind of messed me up there. I need to actually exit out of Skype. Look at Karazim doing so much damage to Uther, doing that 7-sided strike, but it didn't really catch a lot of people. They didn't engage too far, but it looks like Anubarak is going to finish that kill, but he's going to go down. It looks like he wasn't able to get saved by his Karazim. They're going to back out, probably try to do as much damage. That tower is slowing KT, and Greymane is looking to capitalize on that slow. He is going to take down KT. KT was crawling and begging, Greymane, please, please, don't do it. But it looks like Greymane does take him down in the end, guys. He's just gonna razor swipe him down to the end. But the blue team is going to capture their first Dragon Knight camp and push the middle name with fidelity. I love that word, fidelity, so I use it all the time. Mathiel is trying to get that Vala. She does not have that vault. The vault is on cooldown, and it looks like she is going to go down here. He is a imposing presence on the battlefield. He's able to just stick on to someone and just stay on them. Look at Gazlo in the southern lane and attacking this southern keep. I did not even notice this, guys, but he has 4 siege camps pushing down there. Gazlo, like I said, is a beast with that siege, and he's going to do a lot of damage. Raynor and Arthas need to be extremely careful. The Dragon Knight needs to be extremely careful, but they are able to take away that Anubarak. Anubarak doesn't understand that Raynor is going to melt him time and time again. He is a tanky tank, and Raynor does like to gobble those tanks up like they nothing. It looks like Gazlo's actually going to go down by that southern keep. He got a little bit too comfortable, and he is going to be taken down, which is not very good because the red team only has 3 people up, and it's possible that the blue team might be able to push a little bit further, but I think they're going to back out here because they actually did lose a southern keep, which is not a good thing. That means those cannon towers are going to be pushing in, and while they still have all their other forts and all their other siege camps, that southern lane is going to turn into a problem as the game keeps going. They're going to have to actually be forced to utilize at least one of their people to go down there and take care of those minions and those catapults that are pushing in. It looks like KT and Karazim want this camp. Do they want it more than the blue team? I think they do. Arthas is getting extremely low, but they are going to back out, and it looks like Anub wants to pick up this Arthas kill. Is it enough? He does have an Uther sitting right next to him, and it looks like Vala... Oh, excuse them, moi. It looks like Vala is going to try to go in there, and it's going to be enough to deter that Anubarak from actually pursuing, and actually the whole red team for pursuing the blue team. Let's take a look at the damage here. You can see how much Greymane is doing for the blue team, and Raynor is doing a sizable amount of damage as well. Vala probably needs to pick it up a little bit. I think the build that she went, the Hungering Arrow build, is not the proper build for this particular situation. She should have went... basic attack build or multi-shot build. Raynor is going to go down. He was trying to push that fort. Maybe got in a little bit too deep, but I think it might be enough to actually take it down with that Hyperion, but we'll have to see. But maybe not. Like I was saying, Vala does need to do a lot more damage, and I think the Hungering Arrow build is not the build to go in this situation. She should have went the multi-shot build. Maybe she was trying to capitalize with the... Maybe she was trying to synergize with the Raynor to do just a ton of damage to Anubarak, the frontline tank. But he is able to just self-sustain, especially with that Locust Swarm. Look at Karazim just doing so much damage to the Greymane with the 7-sided strike. He takes it down. He's like a damage dealer in himself. And you could see when the damage log was up how much damage the Karazim was actually doing. More damage than the Gazlo, more damage than the Mathiel, probably even more damage to the KT, who is the main source of damage dealer for the team. But granted that KT... there hasn't been a lot of blue team fights, and KT does the most damage. Arthas is getting caught out here. I have to mention that before I finish my thought. Arthas is going to get caught out here for the red team, and they are going to get that northern fort, or that northern shrine, as well as the southern shrine. And let's see if they can actually capitalize on a great Dragon Knight and push in, and they do. But like I was saying, KT really does his damage when he goes Flame Strike build. That's one plus, that he didn't go Flame Strike build here, but he's able to just do a ton of damage with the Flame Strike build. And when there's a 5-on-5 team fight, especially with that Phoenix, I think that KT might be a little bit better with a Pyroblast in this situation, because the team fights are based around the Dragon Knight. The red team really honestly needs to be pushing with their Dragon Knight here. You can see how low the Dragon Knight is getting Greymane, and how low the Dragon Knight is getting the blue team in general. Raynor at half health, Greymane at half health, Uther at half health. If the red team was, instead of pushing that middle fort and instead pushing with their Dragon Knight, they might have picked up a few kills here. Instead, the Dragon Knight is at 5%, and it looks like they do lose KT, and they're probably going to lose Karazim here, to be honest with you. Karazim does go in. Looks like Arthas is going to go down here, or I'm sorry, the Skype call is totally throwing me off. Uther is extremely low. I think KT just went down, and actually I think Uther just went down. He turned into a little Force Ghost. Mathiel is using his level 20 talent to actually return to the battlefield, but give himself a 25% increase for respawn on his next respawn. Arthas is in trouble once again. I think he's probably gonna die here. He was in a little bit too deep. I think Vala has already used Vault, and everyone is on top of her. I think the red team could probably actually end here if they do just attack that southern. They just go through the southern area, but it looks like they really want to attack this middle fort for some reason. They're really super focused on attacking this middle fort, and if they just attack that, if they just go through the south area, everyone has like a 50-second to a 55-second respawn time, and I think they could. I don't think Greymane or Raynor has enough healing in themselves to keep the fight going. So I think that was a mistake on the red team's part, but I mean, to each their own. Look how much damage that Karazim's doing. Look how much hero damage he's doing. He's up on par with Mathiel. He's up on par with the KT. It looks like the teams are fairly even in hero damage, and you can see they're also fairly even in skill level, and they're also fairly even in kills. The only difference is the red team is doing a lot better on the forts and the keeps, or the structures in general. And that's all it's really about. It doesn't matter if the blue team has 50 or 60 kills and the red team has 1. If they are doing better structurally, then that's where the game is. It's better. This is how it is. This is how the teams go, and this is how Hero League normally goes in the lower brackets. People definitely get frustrated at people that are pushing lanes and not staying with the team. Karazim is way too deep right here. He's getting too crazy with those. He's getting too crazy with that damage, man. Especially when he's dashing in with he's dashing into a blue team, a 4-man blue team. He can't do it solo. And there goes his KT. Let's see if they can capitalize on a Arthas kill. I think Uther should put a Divine Shield onto Arthas and run away himself. I do think they should have ran away a lot earlier. Arthas has already utilized his Army of the Damned, and Uther does go down here. So Arthas doesn't have a lot in the way of self-sustain at the moment, aside from Death Coil. His Army of the Damned is what is really going to propel him in these matches. The blue team has been extremely fractured, and Arthas is a great tank, and I mean he should be one of the main self-sustainers here. But the blue team isn't really sticking around as a group, it seems like. Anubarak is trying to escape here, but he does have that beetle slightly healing him. He has his little beetles healing him, and he's had his Hards and Carapace. I don't think Greymane is going to be able to run him down, especially since he's already pretty far away at this point. Whew! So the blue team is rotating down south, trying to grab that southern shrine, but the red team is in hot pursuit. Gazlo looks like he's going to steal the blue team's enemy siege camp. So we'll see what if the blue team is able to catch him in this little sneaky sneak. They are rotating that way, and I think Arthas did catch him, so he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Uther is in trouble because look at that Karazim doing so much damage. Greymane's probably going to go down here. I don't think Uther's Flash of Lights are going to be able to keep him out in hot pursuit with the blue team. Actually, it looks like that is one tricky Greymane, but Karazim and Anubarak are going to finish the job, but not before Gazlo goes down. He really wanted to get that siege camp, but Arthas was able to capitalize on that camp. I seriously think the red team needs to attack that southern area down there, but I think they're totally satisfied with attacking that middle keep for whatever reason. I'm not sure why they want those keeps down so bad, especially when they have that southern area taken down. The Dragonite is pushing in the middle, but honestly, I think he should be pushing the south, especially since they have a Greymane and an Uther already dead, and they have very little in the way of self-sustain. Arthas himself doesn't have he doesn't have his Army of the Damned, and it looks like Karazim, Mathiel, and Anub are going to take him down, and Rainer's going to go down as well. That's a 65-second death timer for those two individuals. Greymane is still down. I think this is going to be GG, guys. You have a 4-man team pushing in, and I don't think an Uther, a Vala, and a Resurrected Greymane is going to be able to take down a tanky Dragonite, an Anub, and everyone else who's in the mix. The core is at half health. I think the red team did an excellent job hanging in there and really focusing. Even though the blue team was winning in kills, I think they did a great job focusing on what the game was actually about, getting the objective and getting those forts down. And it looks like Karazim was the MVP, a much deserved MVP for Karazim. He did a lot of damage, and he did a great job. So thank you guys for joining me today. I really love casting these games. If you have a gameplay that you would like me to cast, I don't care if it's a quick match, I don't care if it's a Hero League, Team League, I don't care if it's with a computer. Shoot, send me your computer games. I would love to cast it. Send it to greencarpetmail@gmail.com. That's greencarpetmail@gmail.com, and I would love to cast it. Please leave me a subscribe. Please leave me a like. Please leave me a comment, and I will definitely read it in my next cast. I don't care if it's a positive, if it's a hateful comment. I will read every single comment that you guys give me. And sometimes, even if there's a lot of comments that are in the comment section, I will do a cast specifically just doing comments, just answering your questions. So this game was brought to you by YoJimbo252, who is actually the Rainer on the losing team. So thank you, YoJimbo252, for uploading a losing gameplay. It's very rare that people do that, and kudos to you. I think you did a great job in that game. I think your hero damage was very nice, which most Rainer's damage are. I mean, they have a lot of sustain. It was very difficult for you guys, and I think your team did do well with how they were built. They were built to roam around and get those team kills and do that sustained damage. So thank you, YoJimbo252. Big shout out to you. You're pretty awesome. You guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next time. What the hell am I talking about? The next time? God, Travis, you need to pick up the slack. I'm trying, man. I'm trying so hard. You need to pick up the slack. When you say, see you in the next time, people are going to think you're a weirdo. When I'm talking to myself, I think that's kind of weird. You shut the hell up.